on, guys? We're here to talk about some news. Jamal Adams has been in the headlines here lately. He wants out. He wants out of the Jets organization. It came out today that I guess him and Adam Gase aren't getting along very well, and that's the reason he wants to be gone. Mm-hmm. And he's got some options. I mean...
Yeah, there's 7 teams that are interested or that are a realistic option.
Did you notice something? They're all winners.
Yep, they're all...
7 are.
Right, they're all decent winning teams.
Any team would want him, I would imagine. But
right, any team. I guess we'll start out with the Texans. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much of a shot he has to go there. Yes, like you were saying, winning teams, but the Texans are on a downhill slide a little bit. I don't know if he would want to go there. I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on that? I think that this is the weakest of the 7.
Yeah, like we had talked about and you just said, they're just that whole line's a mess. Mm-hmm. They were kind of good last year, but
kind of fell off.
Yeah.
Traded
Hopkins and got David Johnson, which I don't think that's going to pan out very well for him.
I think cap-wise, they probably could put something together to afford him, but
right.
I know we'll probably say this with each of these teams. He's not the missing piece for that defense.
No.
Right.
I mean, they're missing Clowney now. Watson injury-prone.
Yeah.
I mean, really, who else?
He would go there. He would make a difference, but I don't think he would be the difference.
He's going to get a payday, what it pretty much would end up being.
He wants to be the highest paid safety, I think, is what I heard. So that's
going to...
The only bad thing is going to a winning team. There's probably a lot of money tied up into those winning teams already.
Right, yeah.
So
that is absolute. On to the next team, the Seattle Seahawks.
I could see that.
Legion of Boom 2.0, maybe.
Mm-hmm. They've aged a little bit. A little fact on the Seattle Seahawks, they have not won their division since 2016. I thought that was kind of odd because they were really good, and then it's been the Rams, 49ers. So, have they fallen off a little bit? They have made the playoffs, but they haven't won the division since 2016. So it's... Could this be a missing piece? Yes, but like you said, is it the missing piece? Is this the final piece? I don't know. I don't know if it would make them Legion of Boom 2.0
I think their defense definitely needs help, and I think they've missed prime Marshawn Lynch. You know what I mean? I think that's hurt them.
I think if you put prime Marshawn with this version of Russell Wilson, they'd be contending right now for the division.
Right.
Well, they already are, but I think that'd be the clear-cut favorite. Mm-hmm. Like I said, they got Bobby Wagner. I mean, they're missing, no Earl Thomas, no Richard Sherman.
Mm-hmm. It's a different defense.
They don't have a whole lot of cap to play with.
Right. We'll go on to a fun one here. The Kansas City Chiefs. That they just won the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. This could definitely be an upgrade at safety for them.
They retained all 11 offensive starters.
Right.
They haven't paid Mahomes yet.
So they would have the money right now to make a deal happen, but like you said, Mahomes is going to be due.
He's due what? In a year?
Yeah, a year or two. So if they're going to jump on it, I would say that. But, as a team that just won the Super Bowl, this would make sense if it's the right deal.
Maybe a short-term deal,
right.
A couple years, maybe.
2 year,
right?
3 year. Now with that, he'd be paired with Honey Badger.
That'd be
pretty good depth-wise. Really they got Clark on the inside. I think
it'd be smart for him, I would imagine. Especially if he wants a ring.
Right, because you're going to a winning team, a team that just won the Super Bowl. They've already got a decent defense. Mm-hmm. I'd say top 15. Mm-hmm. Not top 5, but this would make them that much better.
Oh, yeah.
So on to the next one, a really complete defense, I feel, the 49ers.
Oh, yeah. I can't.
I can't.
Do you need to add somebody else to that defense?
Right.
For me,
come on.
I think pretty much everybody think that'd be the least place he'd go because you saw they traded DeForest Buckner. They can't pay everybody.
Right. And if they can't pay Buckner, then how are they going to pay Adams? But as far as complete defense, I think that would be scary to put him there. It would just add so much depth.
especially you lock in that secondary. Then you got Bosa. Mm-hmm. You got a couple other pieces.
They still got Sherman. They got Sherman too.
Right, they got Sherman. That would be a scary defense for him to go to. We'll switch it up and go to your Ravens. Now, is this a realistic option for you guys?
I've seen between us and we'll talk about the other team after. There's a shot. Do I think it'd make the most sense? No. Money-wise, because we're going to have to pay Staley, Humphreys. Mm-hmm. There's a couple other guys that need paid. We have Chuck Clark. We just signed him to an extension. He played pretty well, and then we have Earl, which the problem is Chuck Clark and Jamal play the same position. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how they pull the strings to make it work.
Right.
Do we trade Earl? I wouldn't. Just because Earl's one of the best full safeties in the game right now.
Right.
Even though he's aging, I don't really see it's going to happen. It's fun to think about, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with you on that. The last two teams are both in the NFC East. I guess we'll talk about the Eagles first.
Yep.
Because he has the opportunity to go to the Eagles. The Eagles, once again, are a winning team.
If their quarterback
if their quarterback stays healthy. That is absolutely correct.
I don't know about that.
But, I mean, they're a good team, too. So not just a winning team. But
they're a team that's always on the brink of the playoffs.
Right. They actually was the one that won the division last year against us. So,
I don't know what they'd get trade-wise. I saw some kind of just a what if they traded Ertz. Mm-hmm. Ertz for Adams and picks. I mean, Darnold would get a tight end he can throw the ball to.
Right.
That'd help him out. I don't know who'd really win that, though.
But you would,
win that side.
like you said, you'd be giving up a really talented tight end
top 5
to get a really talented safety. So it's like,
but
it's kind of give and take.
The Jets right now, I mean, if you look at the Jets, they need a lot of stuff.
Right, they need a lot more.
And Sam Darnold needs a lot of help.
Mm-hmm. So that would make sense in theory, but then, like I said, then the Eagles are losing that piece too. And we go back to, I don't think that Adams is the final piece for really of any of these teams, but the Eagles, they're good enough, but is he really going to be the piece that pushes them to a Super Bowl? I don't know. And if you're losing Ertz, then it really makes it kind of odd.
I mean, with talking about the Eagles, they had Goddard, which he showed some promise.
Right.
But would you sacrifice both tight ends? You know, losing.
You wouldn't want to sacrifice both.
Well, losing your tight end tandem, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen either.
Right. On to the final team. The Dallas Cowboys here. There was an actual trade proposal that we kind of seen. It was a 2021 first-round pick, a 2022 second-round pick, and a wide receiver, Gallup. Since we just picked up C.D. Lamb, we could lose Gallup. But I think that's a little steep to give a first, a second, and a player. I would be willing if Jones could work maybe 2 picks, 2 second-round picks, or a first and a wide receiver. But, man, I don't know about 2 picks and a player, especially when this is his last season.
Here's the question.
We could pick him up.
It could be a rental.
Right. It would just be a rental for 1 year. We could go ahead and just let him play as a Jet and then just pick him up and not have to give nothing up next season, unless if they tag him.
But can you afford him?
And then that's the next one. So
there's a lot of money tied up in the Cowboys.
And if we can't afford him, then you're giving up a first, a second, and a player for a 1-year rental, and then you can't even pay him after the year.
In order to pay him, I think you'd have to give up something other than Gallup. You'd have to give away somebody that's making some money.
I don't know who would want to do that.
And the hard thing is, because I think it was 2 first-round picks, was it? I think the proposal was. And Gallup or what have you, but that's a lot to give up.
Yeah, that's way too much.
You might end up drafting a safety in the corner, somebody that ends up, and you don't have to pay him that much money for these past couple of years.
I agree. I would rather just save the picks and try to pick them up in the free agency next year unless they tag him, of course. But if he wants out, they're not going to tag him. No. They're going to let him walk.
Because there was a video that surfaced, him saying that he was trying to go to Dallas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He said that Dallas is his preferred destination.
And you never know those things because this comes out all the time. Mm-hmm. It'll always be leaked that a player wants to go to some certain team.
Could make a bidding war.
Yeah, they may just be starting to.
Dallas was linked to Earl Thomas back when all that happened. Then he went to the Ravens instead. So I mean, just because you say that you're linked there, but the thing about Adams is he actually went to high school in Texas. He was actually 31 miles from AT&T Stadium. So he is a Texas native, and it would be a kind of a homecoming of sorts if he did get to come to Dallas. But I would only want him if we could get him on a realistic package. I don't want to give up 2 picks and a player. It's too steep.
I think there's so much going on with the salary cap situation right now, especially with you guys with Dak and which we'll get into. But especially next year, the salary cap might be going way down, and he wants to be the highest paid safety. Who's going to take on that? Who's going to have the money for that?
Right.
I don't know.
Unless if he's willing to take a team-friendly deal to come home to Dallas, but if he really is set on being highest paid, then that's what he's going to get.
Well, you think about it. You guys have a lot of money wrapping quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. You have, what is he? Third highest paid running back. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Amari Cooper. Just think $100 million deal. You're lying. They're going to start getting to get paid.
Yep, I don't think we could afford him.
I think there's too much.
I think we save the picks and just try to get him next year in free agency. And even if you can't do that, then like you said, just draft his safety.
I think sometimes, Adams is really good, but I think sometimes it's better to build through the draft, especially if you're already like a playoff caliber team.
Right.
I don't know.
I'm with you there.
It's hard to give up all that money.
Well, anyways.
So with that being said,
predictions?
Where do you guys think that he will go?
Or realistically, you would think he would go to a team that doesn't have a chance to do anything, but I think if they can afford him for maybe a couple years, the Chiefs would probably be the best place for him to go.
I could see that.
Just for a couple years.
I would say the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. Because if you think about it, they're going to be in probably the AFC Championship game at least. Mm-hmm. You're gonna if you trade one pick, you're gonna have it's pretty much the end of the first round.
No.
Right.
If they retain him, they do. If they don't, it's not. They're gonna be still contending anyways.
Right.
They won without him.
Yeah.
I think that'd be probably the smartest play would be the Chiefs, which I don't want to say that because we're gonna try.
Right. You guys have to contend with that, but
then they kind of evaluate him and Mahomes and who to sign, or then salary cap wise too. Mm-hmm. You don't know what's going to happen.
Because if you can get him on a deal for a couple years before you pay Mahomes, and you might win a couple more Super Bowls.
I'm right there with you with the Chiefs. That another team that I think is the most likely that could put a package together is the Eagles.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, the Cowboys have too much wrapped up. The Eagles, they do have a lot wrapped up in Wentz, but not necessarily their wide receivers and whatnot, so they would have the cap space to get it done. And the Ertz, package Ertz in there, so you're getting a top 5 tight end for a top 5 safety. It would work. It would work for both teams in a fashionable way, a realistic way. So that's kind of why I'm thinking Chiefs or Eagles.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that because, like you're saying about the Ravens, I don't want him to go to the Eagles, but.
I would say, just kind of out of that list, I'd say probably a dark horse. I'd say probably Seattle.
Yeah.
Never know.
But any of the 7 teams, I don't think he is the piece, other than maybe the Chiefs, because the Chiefs are already a Super Bowl caliber team.
Oh, yeah.
So he would just, as long as you're not giving up too much talent to get him. But all right.
I think that's all we got for Adams.
That's it for Adams. So tune in for the next episode.
Peace out.